Namaste, everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today we're going to do a little brief intro on what is called yin yoga. Whereas in our last video we were moving kind of vigorously and working up some heat. Yin yoga is sort of the opposite, where you slow down, hold poses for longer periods of time, and what occurs is the stretching of fascia. Fascia is connective tissue that surrounds muscle, holding it in place. And you can kind of think of it like plastic. It's sort of a dense material, so it takes a long time for it to smooth out and stretch. So typically yin poses are held about 1 to 2 minutes, up to 5. So a couple of principles to understand about this practice. It's really about surrendering. It's kind of like letting go into gravity. As we've discussed before, your intention behind the practice is important. So for your intention today, you might consider compassion and trusting yourself. We're going to do some poses with our eyes closed, and you have to be able to set forth within a trusting manner. And as long as you're working in the ways of being compassionate towards yourself, you're doing it right. And so with that, we'll get started with the 2 blocks. If you don't have your blocks, you could use your blanket for this one, which you just roll into a shape like this. Place it like so. If you have your blocks, place them one of them lengthways, and then one of them about 6 inches away at the highest level. We're going to come to lie on our backs with the first block just about in between the shoulder blades. Second block goes underneath the head to support. And once you get settled in, you might take a moment to adjust as you need to. We're going to do that breathing exercise that we did in our first video. First, just placing the hands just below the navel, let your eyes close. And we're just going to concentrate on each breath for about 10 breaths here. Feeling the flow, the rhythm, and the depth of each inhale and exhale. The rise and fall of the belly. And just letting go of anything else that maybe is currently with you, energy from your day, thoughts of the future, the past. Setting forth in your practice to be present, to be here, to be feeling whatever you're feeling. Take both hands at the rib cage, and the same thing, just feeling the breath as it flows in and out of the body. This awareness that we're creating is paramount within the practice of yoga. When you're just able to kind of detach, shut things off, and concentrate and focus on what is, that deeper sense of awareness leads you into deeper clarity, into a purity of vision and truth. And that purity of truth is a gift. Alright. Place your hands up at the top of the collarbone. Just any way that you can kind of get comfortable. 10 more breaths here. On average, as humans, we take about 21,600 breaths a day. So at this time, as you focus, you also might just concentrate on a little bit of gratitude for all that the breath does for us. And lastly, as a shoulder opener, take your hands over your head and interlace your fingers. Let your elbows drop toward the floor. Continue to breathe. Notice how you surrender, how as you surrender, as you let go, you feel yourself more supported by the earth underneath you. And even though this is a gentler form of yoga, there can still be points that become too intense. So remember to listen to your body, and if you find yourself in a place that's painful, ease out of it, readjust, and then continue without pain. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. On the exhale, help your knees come together. Straighten your legs out on the mat. You can turn your palms away. Stretch your arms away from your heels. One long stretch in the body. Deep breath. You bring your hands back up to the front. Tuck your chin in. Slowly rise up to a seated position. And here, with legs extended, take one block or two in between the knees, and we're going to fold forward. Just give yourself a gentle slight bend in both knees. If you want to turn your palms up and place them underneath your calves, you can. You let your head rest on the block at whatever height feels best to you, and if your head doesn't touch the block, that's okay. You just do the best that you can with where you are and make adjustments along the way. Keep coming to your breathing. And we'll come up. Place your blocks on the side of you. Make your way to all fours, table pose. From here, we'll do a melting heart pose. You take both hands shoulder distance apart. Bring your forearms down. Walk your knees back a little bit, say 2-3 inches or so. And then bring your heart toward the earth. And let your forehead rest on the floor. This helps to stretch the thoracic spine. It also opens the shoulders and the chest. So, as you breathe, just imagine your heart melting toward the earth. Deep breaths. Start to walk your knees forward and bring your hands back towards your heels as you sink your hips back into a child's pose. Feel the earth underneath you. If you find that your knees or your hips are tight, place your blanket in between your knees. In between your thighs and your calves. We'll rise up. This next one is can be a little intense, but it's worth it. It's a stretch for your feet called broken toe or fire toe. So you tuck your toes under. You can use your blocks in front for support, but basically sending weight into your heels. The more you lean back, the more pressure you can give yourself. Of course, it's important to stretch our feet because we do a lot with our feet, right? So give your feet the love they deserve. Might not feel like love right now, but I assure you they will be grateful. While we're doing this, you can relax your shoulders down. You can also open your mouth wide, say ah, sort of like a yawn, a pretend yawn. Take a breath. Helps to relax your face, the muscles in your jaw. Two more deep breaths. Okay. Bring the tops of the feet down, stretching out the ankles. Here you can just lean back, maybe lift your knees if that feels all right to you. Deep breathing. Okay. Next we'll try pigeon. So pigeon pose, you'll bring your right foot towards your left hand. This can be a good place to use a blanket. Placing it underneath the right hip so you feel supported. It's alright if your foot comes back toward your hip some, but ideally you get the most stretch if this front shin is parallel with the top edge of the mat. Okay. Back leg is straight out behind you. Okay. Stay here for a breath or two. And close your eyes. If you feel like your body is able, willing, then come down to your forearms. And as you feel yourself relax even further into the pose, you can come down, resting your head on the mat. Try not to be too concerned with comparing what you look like. You know, to me on the video, you may look very different. Most importantly, you should be pain-free. Discomfort is part of the process, but if you feel something sharp or radiating or anything other than discomfort, then just come up and readjust yourself. Remember that your intuition is your best teacher. So listen to your body. So this stretch opens up piriformis muscles, which wrap around the hip. A lot of the times whenever we sit a lot, these muscles have a tendency to shorten, which causes tension to accumulate in the lower back. So if you do have back pain, starting with your hips, stretching out your hips can be a good way to go about relieving that. Because everything is connected, right? Let's come up. And take a moment to move, circle your hips, or do anything that feels good. And then we'll switch sides, taking the left foot toward the right hand. Place your blanket underneath the left hip. Right leg straight out behind you. Deep breathing. When you're ready, move toward the earth. And let your eyes close and concentrate on your breathing. Couple more deep breaths here. Good. And we'll rise up, coming back into table. Take a few moments to move. And before we move on, I'd like you to take out your journal. And in regarding this style of yoga, letting go, surrendering, I found a quote from Lao Tzu, who was an ancient Chinese philosopher. It says, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." So, what I'd like you to do is write about what you think this quote means. Maybe you include techniques that help you to let go in your life, whatever it is. Let go of expectations or negative thoughts or thoughts in general. So again, that's when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Backs. Bring both knees into your heart. And keeping your thighs at a 90-degree angle, so think of a square, right? Keep your knees at a 90 from your torso. Bring your knees over to the left side. And if your shoulders want to come up off the mat, then use block or blanket underneath your legs. Arms can be out to the side. You could use your left hand to add a little weight onto the right leg. Also turning the head over the right shoulder. And we'll take a few breaths here. Come back to center and switch sides. Turning the head over the left shoulder. Breathing deeply. Once again, we'll come back to center. If you have your blanket handy, you can place it underneath your knees for Savasana. Savasana means corpse pose. And bring your shoulders a little closer together. Let your palms turn to face up. Another gesture of surrendering, of letting go. Just letting go into the earth, so you can return to your normal breath. And we'll take a few minutes here just to be still, right? Remember, one of the 5 pillars of yogic balance, the right relaxation. So doing that here as you let go of the outside world and take rest. Let your body heal. Gently, we'll start to wake up, moving the fingers and toes, rotating the wrists and ankles. Stretch your arms overhead, bring your feet together. Take your knees into your heart. Wrap your arms around your legs. Send yourself some loving kindness and gratitude. Rock over to one side and help yourself come up to seated. Okay. Hope this practice served you today. A little bit of time just to slow down. Remember to take good care of yourselves. Practice consistently. Write your journals, a whole page. And have fun too. That's important. Be well, everyone. Namaste. And as the Mayans say in Lakesh Alakin, I am another yourself. Email me with any questions or feedback. Thank you all.